Have you ever felt like life just hits a pause button? Like the forward momentum you're used to suddenly slows, things feel, I don't know, heavy. Doors that used to swing open now feel kind of stuck.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe there's this mix of confusion and restlessness swirling inside you.
Exactly that feeling. If that sounds familiar to you listening, hold that thought because, well, according to the stack of material we've been digging into for this deep dive, you might not be stuck at all.
Right. The sources we looked at suggest you could actually be on the verge of what they call a quantum vibrational leap. You might be actively entering a period of vibrational recalibration.
Vibrational recalibration. Okay.
And this feeling, it's probably not random. The material even posits that this state, this kind of subtle sensing, might be a sign your energy field is right on the edge of this transition. It might even be what drew you to listen to this today.
Huh. Interesting. And that's really our mission here, isn't it? To explore this fascinating concept straight from these sources. We want to understand what vibrational recalibration really means, beyond just the label, how to maybe decode its sign, which can be surprising in your body, in your world.
And how to move through it wisely, not just fighting it.
Right. How to cooperate with it. And then what it means to come out the other side, realigned for whatever new reality is waiting.
And what's really striking about the whole premise in these sources is this. It insists this phase isn't failure. It's not a setback or stagnation.
Okay, that's important.
It's framed more like a silent pause, an intelligent sort of behind-the-scenes process that's actively preparing you, getting you ready to cross a new vibrational threshold.
It's like we're uncovering the hidden architecture of vibrational cycles that the material talks about, the stuff going on underneath.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's dig in then. At its core, what is this vibrational recalibration? What's the fundamental idea about reality that it's based on?
Well, the core idea presented is that the visible reality we interact with every day, that's just one layer.
Okay, like the surface level.
Exactly. Underlying it, you have your personal vibrational, and it moves in these unseen rhythms. The sources suggest these rhythms aren't just passive reflections of your life, they're actively shaping the flow of everything you experience.
Shaping it. How so?
Think of it like your own unique frequency that's broadcasting out, influencing what you perceive, what you attract, kind of the texture of your reality.
Okay, so like a personal energetic signature. So when these rhythms, when they reach a critical point, what happens then?
That's when, according to this material, a recalibration cycle kicks off. It's described as a process that changes the fundamental structure of your energy. Yeah. And crucially, this isn't something you consciously decide to do or, control with your thoughts. It's said to be guided by an intelligence that's beyond your ordinary thinking mind.
Guided by an intelligence. What does that look like? How does it manifest?
The sources explain it as this silent reorganization. It happens across your entire being, your physical body, your mental landscape, even your electromagnetic field.
Wow. Okay. All levels.
All levels. It's dissolving old, outdated energetic patterns, the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. And at the same time, it's integrating higher frequencies, essentially preparing you for a new state of alignment with reality itself.
And this is why, maybe, as the source puts it, certain times in life can feel like they plunge into a deep vibrational silence. It's not emptiness, but this hidden restructuring work.
Exactly. It's presented not as a bug, but a feature, Not a malfunction, but a necessary phase within this intelligent unfolding, a kind of code within the cycle itself.
What I find really compelling, though, is how this idea isn't exactly new. The sources connect this understanding of universal rhythms back to, ancient wisdom traditions.
Oh, absolutely, they do. The material brings up figures like Thoth, described as the master of transmutation.
Right, the Egyptian scribe god.
Yeah, who apparently taught that all movement in the universe, seen and unseen, follows these invisible rhythms. This lines up directly with that ancient principle often called the law of rhythm.
So the ancient thinkers, they saw this law applying not just to seasons or tides, the obvious physical cycles, but also to our internal state, our energy.
Precisely. The sources really emphasized that understanding this law, working with it, was considered key to navigating life with mastery. Those who could perceive and flow with these inner cycles, they thrived.
And those who didn't?
Well, those who resisted or ignored them were seen as basically struggling against the fundamental currents of creation itself, like swimming upstream constantly.
Wow. There's that powerful saying they cite from old hidden wisdom. Everything flows, everything oscillates, everything moves like a pendulum.
Right. And the material is explicit. This isn't just poetry.
No?
It's presented as a precise description of how reality actually behaves on a vibrational level.
Okay. And Hermes Trismegistus, who's mentioned as being in that Thoth lineage.
Yes.
He apparently had a pretty stark warning about this, that resisting these natural cycles of flow and, oscillation.
Yeah.
It's basically resisting the flow of creation itself.
That's the message conveyed. Resisting recalibration is resisting creation, which really elevates the significance of those moments when you feel stuck or slowed down, doesn't it?
It totally reframes them. It's not just a bad week, it's potentially something much deeper.
Exactly. The sources suggest that the wise ones of antiquity didn't fear these phases of, say, vibrational contraction or slowdown. They actually welcomed them.
Welcomed them? That seems counterintuitive.
Well, they saw them as portals of transmutation, necessary passages, times when the old energetic armor, or, those protective layers we build up, could dissolve.
Making space.
Making space for new internal structures to form. They even apparently recorded the signs they observed during these periods, physical feelings, mental shifts, even external synchronicities.
So things like feeling off physically or weird coincidences happening, they weren't just random noise to them, they were reading them as signal.
That's the perspective presented. These signs were seen as integral codes within the process. The ancient view described every recalibration phase as a kind of vibrational gestation.
Gestation, like something new is growing internally.
A period of profound internal change leading to a new birth of the self, essentially.
Okay. Now, connecting this ancient perspective to today, it's fascinating how modern science is starting to uncover mechanisms that, well, they seem to provide a physical basis for some of these energetic ideas.
Yeah, the sources definitely highlight this convergence. For instance, they talk about research from places like the HeartMath Institute.
Oh, yes, HeartMath.
Their work demonstrates how the electromagnetic field generated by the human heart is incredibly powerful. It influences not just our own body systems, but it actually interacts with the environment around us.
It radiates outwards.
It does. And the sources propose that the measurable reorganization of this heart field, which happens during intense emotional states or big life transitions, that could be seen as a physical reflection of this deeper energetic vibrational recalibration process.
So science is showing the heart's energy field literally shifts. And the sources are saying, hey, maybe that physical shift is a symptom of the whole vibrational field retuning.
That's the link they're suggesting, yeah. And neuroscience adds another layer, doesn't it? With the whole concept of neuroplasticity.
Right, the brain's ability to change itself.
Exactly. The brain's amazing ability to reorganize, form new neural connections, weaken old ones. The material suggests that during vibrational recalibration, there might be this accelerated, maybe even intelligently guided dismantling of the energetic scaffolding that supported old neural patterns, allowing new, more aligned structures to form in the brain.
And that could explain why people going through this sometimes report temporary physical symptoms or weird emotional swings. It's the physical brain actually rewiring as the energy shifts.
That's the interpretation offered, yes.
Yeah.
The material also brings in Stephen Porges's polyvagal theory.
Polyvagal, okay. The nervous system.
Right. It describes how our autonomic nervous system is constantly modulating our physiological state, fight or flight, rest and digest based on signals of safety or threat. During recalibration, the sources suggest the body might kind of oscillate between states of high activation and then deep rest as the nervous adjusts. It reflects this profound mind-body energy field realignment that's underway.
So ancient wisdom sensed these cycles, and modern science is giving us glimpses into the actual physical mechanisms that might correspond.
Okay, so if this resonates, if you're feeling some of this, how do you actually know if you're in one of these cycles right now? What are the signs the sources detail?
Well, they list several key indicators to look out for. Things like notably altered sleep patterns.
Like waking up at 3 a.m. every night.
Could be. Or just more vivid dreams, maybe really intense dreams, often filled with symbols. Unusual waking times, yeah. Also, unusual emotional shifts, sometimes feeling things that seem to come out of the blue, not necessarily tied to specific events.
Emotional roller coaster, maybe?
Can feel like that, and often there's an instinctive pull, somewhat inexplicable, towards new knowledge, maybe different spiritual practices, or simply needing more solitude, more quiet time. So those weird sleep cycles, the intense dreams, the emotional ups and downs, they might not just be inconvenient symptoms. They could be code.
According to these sources, yes, they're signals. Recognizing these signs is described as the crucial first step. It's about bringing light to the invisible process happening inside you, just shifting your perspective on what it means.
Which is a huge contrast to how we're often conditioned to see these things, right?
Yeah.
We tend to confuse a pause with failure.
Right.
Confusion with weakness, or that feeling of contracting, pulling back, with going backwards, with regression.
Exactly. The material stresses that these are common modern misinterpretations, and they can actually work against the process, make it harder.
Okay, so you start recognizing the sign, you shift your perspective. But like we said, Just understanding it isn't enough. You have to navigate it consciously. What do the sources suggest for actually living through a recalibration cycle?
Right. The foundational practice they offer is something called vibrational acceptance.
Vibrational acceptance, okay.
It's really about consciously choosing not to fight it, not trying to micromanage what your field's own inherent intelligence is already doing. The practice itself can be simple but profound, just mentally or even verbally stating something like, I allow my field to reorganize in harmony.
Giving permission.
Exact. Giving conscious permission for this intelligent process to unfold without your interference.
Just allowing it, rather than trying to force things back to how they were or force a different outcome.
Precisely. Another essential tool highlighted is breathing. Seems simple, but the sources describe breath as an essential portal, a way to connect directly with your internal state.
How so? Any specific technique?
They specifically recommend coherent breathing. It's pretty straightforward. You inhale smoothly through your nose for a count of 5, and then exhale gently through your mouth, also for a count of 5.
In 5, out 5.
Yep.
Practicing this for just a few minutes helps foster what's called cardiorespiratory coherence. It harmonizes the electromagnetic fields of the heart and the brain. Basically, it creates an internal environment that's much more conducive to a smooth recalibration.
Grounding and harmonizing the system. Makes sense. What about external cues? You mentioned synchronicities earlier.
Yes. Definitely keep your awareness open for synchronicities. The material presents these not as random chance events,
Right.
but as responses from your field, like little guideposts popping up in your external reality, adjusting to your emerging new vibrational pattern.
So pay attention to them.
Notice them, yeah. The recurring numbers, the chance meetings that feel significant, relevant things you overhear, welcome them. Be open to following the intuitive nudge they might give you. They're seen as external confirmations, guidance from the process itself.
Like the universe is putting up signposts based on your new frequency tuning in.
That's kind of the idea, yeah. And beyond those external signs, the practice of vibrational self-listening is really key.
Yeah. Setting aside moments each day, maybe just a few minutes. Close your eyes, breathe calmly, and simply ask yourself, inwardly, what frequency is vibrating within me right now?
And just listen.
Just listen, without judgment. The sources say if you do this regularly, you'll start noticing things. Maybe a density of emotion that's asking to be released, physical tension that needs movement, or subtle impulses nudging you towards something.
It sounds like cultivating a really deep inner dialogue, almost like checking in with your own energy field.
That's a good way to put it. And what about incorporating some intentional support from the outside?
Good question. Energy integration rituals are suggested as potent vibrational anchors.
Rituals, like what?
They can be simple things, like taking baths with coarse salt or specific herbs. Listening to harmonic sounds, they mention frequencies like 432 hertz or 528 hertz specifically, or engaging in guided meditations designed for energy clearing or integration.
Ah, okay.
So using external tools to help the internal process.
Exactly. They're seen as providing tangible, energetic support, helping your field integrate the new codes and release the old stuff more smoothly, supporting the energetic body from the outside in.
And the physical body itself, does it need specific attention too?
Absolutely. Body movement is described as essential.
Why movement?
For circulating energy and preventing stagnation or blockages, which can happen from accumulated sort of residual vibrational charges from the patterns being released.
Okay, so move it or lose it, energetically speaking.
Kind of. Mindful stretching, intuitive dance where you just let your body move how it wants, gentle yoga. Movement helps the energy flow and helps the physical system process all these energetic shifts.
Makes sense. And perhaps the most challenging practice, especially in our noisy modern world.
I think I know where you're going. Silence.
Yes.
The sources really strongly emphasize its power. Constant external stimulation, news, social media, noise. It fragments the field. It pulls your energy in too many directions.
But carve out quiet time.
Create sacred spaces of silence. Even brief ones count. It allows your field the necessary quiet, the space it needs to organize itself and integrate the incoming frequencies and process the dissolved pattern. Don't underestimate it.
Okay, so you navigate through that intense phase, the acceptance, the breathing, listening, moving, finding silence. What follows that? Does it just stop?
Not exactly stop, but it shifts into a stabilization. The initial chaos or the really intense sensations often subside. And the sources note it's actually common to feel a sense of emptiness or neutrality.
Emptiness, that sounds not great. Like maybe it didn't work.
It can feel disconcerting, but the sources are clear. This is not regression. It's not backsliding. It's your field settling down, reorganizing itself into a new state of balance after all the upheaval. It's integrating the new baseline.
Okay, so neutrality is the new normal starting point.
Potentially, yes, a new equilibrium. And during this phase, conscious consolidation becomes vital.
Conscious consolidation.
It means mindfully aligning your words, your thoughts, and crucially your actions with this new vibrational state you're set up. The sources are really clear here. You have to consciously avoid automatically falling back into old behavioral patterns, old ways of thinking, old ways of reacting.
Because those old patterns pull you back to the old frequency.
Exactly. Every choice you make now either strengthens and anchors the new field or it fragments it, potentially pulling you back.
No.
So those tiny mindful choices you make day to day, they are literally rebuilding your reality on this new frequency.
They are building your new vibrational architecture layer by layer. That's a powerful idea.
It is. And this is also where using intentional vibrational codes comes in.
Codes, like affirmations.
Kind of, yes. Crafting specific affirmations or statements that really resonate with the frequency you want to solidify. The key, according to the sources, is speaking them when you're in a state of heart coherence, maybe after doing that coherent breathing. That's said to imprint them more powerfully into your field.
Aligning your focused intention with your actual energetic state.
Yes. You also strengthen this new architecture with simple daily anchoring acts.
Anchoring acts.
These don't need to be huge, elaborate rituals. Simple things like taking a moment for conscious gratitude as soon as you wake up, or maybe having a specific symbolic gesture you do before starting an important task, or even just a brief moment of vibrational alignment, maybe visualizing your energy field before you go to sleep.
Small acts, but done with intention.
Small acts performed with focused intention are potent shapers of the new reality, building that new foundation consistently.
Okay. And finally, cultivate vibrational patience. This is a big one.
Patience, yeah.
Quantum leaps, these big shifts, they aren't usually instant magic tricks. The sources say they require nurturing, maturation, deep integration. You have to honor the rhythm of your field, trust the intelligence that's guiding the whole process, even when it feels slow.
That patience part, I imagine that feels like the hardest bit for many people, especially when you're uncomfortable and just want it to be over. Absolutely. And that brings us right to perhaps the most significant obstacle the sources highlight in this whole process.
Which is?
The craving for control and the need for immediate linear outcomes.
The mind wanting to fix it or speed it up, put it on a schedule.
Exactly. The movement of recalibration is deep. It's nonlinear. It operates on its own timeline, which is definitely not the rational mind's preferred schedule. When old energetic rhythms are dissolving and new ones are just starting to emerge, the conditioned mind, which, thrives on predictability and fixed patterns, it resists this uncertainty. It wants answers now.
And that resistance itself causes problems.
The sources suggest that the more you resist with that craving for control, the denser and potentially more prolonged the cycle can actually feel.
So that anxiety loop, why am I still feeling this way? Why aren't things changing faster? Am I doing something wrong? That state itself creates interference.
It absolutely does. That restlessness generates its own vibrational field, and it directly interferes with the natural rhythmic process of integration. Remember, the cycle includes moments of contraction and expansion. The field needs those quieter, sometimes uncomfortable moments of contraction to breathe and reorganize.
Trying to force forward momentum when the field is naturally pulling back.
It's counterproductive, exactly. The solution offered isn't more effort or control. It's active vibrational surrender.
Active surrender. Okay, how is that different from just, giving up or being passive?
That's a key distinction. It's conscious participation in the allowing. It's not resignation. The sources suggest even a simple maybe just 3 minutes of that coherent breathing while visualizing your energy field as a living organism pulsing in its natural cycle. And holding the affirmation, maybe something like, I trust in the rhythm of my evolution.
I trust in the rhythm of my evolution. That feels very different from needing to control the outcome or know all the answers.
It completely shifts your vibrational state, doesn't it? From anxiety and resistance to trust and confidence in the process. The sources propose that every second you spend in that aligned state of active surrender is actually accelerating the natural integration of the new frequency, even if it doesn't feel like linear speed to your mind.
This whole thing sounds incredibly personal, almost like a secret process happening just beneath the surface of daily life. The sources include this anecdote about someone named Oliver that really seems to bring the depth of this to life.
Ah, yes. Oliver's story. As described, he wasn't someone deep into studying complex spiritual texts or practicing lots of formal techniques. He was just naturally attuned, sensitive to the subtle, invisible movements of life around him and within him.
Okay.
So when his recalibration cycle began, it wasn't like a sudden dramatic crisis. It was more a series of internal and external shifts that he just intuitively sensed were significant.
What kind of shifts did he notice? What were his signs?
Well, his perception of time fundamentally changed. Days felt dense, heavy, almost suspended. Ordinary physical objects around him seemed heavier somehow, like they had a strange presence.
Weird.
Yeah. And his nights became really vivid, a constant theater of symbols and intense dreams. He started perceiving sounds and vibrations that felt beyond normal hearing. And crucially, synchronicities just surged around him.
Like what kind of synchronicities?
Recurring number sequences popping up everywhere, specific words repeating in unexpected places, improbable encounters with people that felt deeply meaningful, like they were messages.
Wow, that sounds intense. Almost like the fabric of his reality was shifting around him.
It does sound intense. The sources say that at the height of this vibrational vortex, as they call it, Oliver instinctively withdrew. He just knew he needed silence, needed to pull back from external noise to process what was happening internally.
He listened to that inner need.
He did. And in that space of retreat, he understood, without anyone telling him, that he was in a profound state of recalibration. And guided purely by his intuition, he just practiced what felt right for his field in that moment.
What did he do?
Deep, conscious breathing. Spontaneous movement, just letting his body move how it needed to. And simple things like drinking water that he had infused with a simple intention for integration.
So really listening deeply to his inner guidance, the needs of his own system.
Yeah. And the initial weeks apparently were a powerful deconstruction phase for him. Buried emotions surfaced, old ways of thinking, old patterns just dissolved. But Oliver didn't fight it. He didn't resist these uncomfortable clearings. He simply allowed them to happen.
He practiced that acceptance we talked about.
Seems like it. And as each layer fell away, a new level of clarity emerged, not from thinking his way through it, but from the clearing itself.
And the outcome for him. How did this invisible rite of passage actually change his experience of life?
Well, as the cycle eventually stabilized, his perception of the world had genuinely shifted. He noticed the cadence of conversations felt different. There was a noticeable brightness or depth in people's eyes. The flow of life around him seemed to move to a new, more harmonious rhythm.
So a real tangible shift in perception.
Definitely. Oliver realized he hadn't gone through a crisis or a break. He'd gone through a profound, intelligent rite of passage. He came to see every symptom, every moment of discomfort as an invitation to be reborn into a new vibrational field, something more aligned with self.
Symptoms as invocations to be reborn. That's a really powerful reframe for anyone feeling that confusion or slowdown, right?
It really is. And the sources share that Oliver felt the material he later encountered, maybe even material like we're discussing in this deep dive, arrived as one of those invisible threads, a synchronicity woven into the web of his transformation, confirming what he had already intuited through.
Wow. This whole exploration has really offered such a different lens, hasn't it? On those moments of feeling stuck or uncertain or just off, bringing it back to the core message from these sources for everyone listening.
Yeah, the fundamental message is a really powerful one, I think. It's basically, you are here right now, maybe experiencing some of these feelings, encountering this specific information.
Yeah.
It's likely not by accident.
Your field brought you here.
That's the idea. Your energy field, that subtle intelligence within you, brought you to this exact point because chances are a new vibrational cycle is already underway.
And crucially, it's not a sign you've done something wrong or that you're failing or that it's an obstacle to overcome.
Exactly. It's presented as a portal. Every moment of uncomfortable sensation, every unexpected pause in momentum, every vivid dream, every synchronicity you happen to notice, these aren't random glitches. They're code, intelligent communications from your field.
Communications inviting you
and guiding you to realign your vibrational architecture, to step into a more authentic reality that's waiting for you.
But as we've kept saying, just knowing this intellectually isn't the whole picture.
No, definitely not. It's knowledge that's meant to be lived. The sources really emphasize that for this understanding to become truly transformative in your life, it has to flow into your daily actions, your habits, your conscious choice.
So the invitation is practice.
It is. From this moment, the invitation is to honor each phase of your field's process. When life seems to slow down, maybe don't default to fighting it or pushing harder. Instead, try listening deeply. What's underneath that slowdown?
And when old emotions surface,
don't resist them or numb them. Find ways to integrate them, to let them move through. When the flow of life feels suspended, remember you might just be in the energetic womb of a new vibrational state being born.
It makes me think of that quote from the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus. He's famous for saying, "Nothing is permanent except change." This idea of recalibration feels like the very essence of that, a living, constant process of transmutation.
The sources definitely echo that kind of perspective. perspective. Framing recalibration not as an occasional event, but as a fundamental aspect of the universe's dynamic, ever-changing nature is how we evolve.
Yeah, the potential outcome.
Yeah.
If you consciously navigate these cycles.
The insight offered is pretty profound. With each recalibration cycle that you navigate with awareness, with courage, with that active surrender, you don't just change a little bit. You become a more refined expression of universal consciousness.
A more refined expression.
Yeah. A more powerful transmitter of the frequencies you choose. More capable of consciously shaping your reality from the inside out. So when the next cycle inevitably arrives and the sources assure us they are a natural part of evolution, you can potentially receive it not with fear or dread,
but with
reverence.
Yeah.
With courage, and with that active, trusting surrender we talked about.
So to wrap this up, perhaps that fatigue you might be feeling, that instability, that sense of slowed flow, maybe it isn't a sign you're broken or failing. Maybe it's actually a powerful transition code.
Your system is recalibrating, preparing you for a new level of being, a new way of experiencing reality. And it's a process hinted at by both ancient wisdom and, increasingly, by modern science.
By recognizing the signs, practicing that vibrational acceptance, using your breath consciously, noticing the synchronicities, tuning inward, moving your body, embracing silence when you can.
Consolidating consciously during stabilization, setting clear intention, cultivating patience, and actively surrendering that deep-seated need for control. You're not just passively waiting it out, you're actively participating in this profound internal shift.
It's really a call to see what you're feeling, not as symptoms of a problem to be fixed, but as the intelligent signals of a deep internal process already underway.
Exactly. And the sources leave us with this final thought to carry forward, maybe something to reflect on. On the other side of the apparent discomfort, maybe even the chaos of recalibration, there is always a field of expanded possibilities waiting to...
So the question becomes, as you integrate this new alignment, what will you consciously choose to shape from that newly powerful question to sit with as you move through your own unique process?